Hey guys, Daniel Malone here from MassLive.com, flying solo here at Rose Hill Gymnasium in the Bronx, where UMass just wrapped up a 76-66 loss to Fordham. That's a season sweep at the hands of the Rands for UMass, which is kind of noteworthy. It's the first time UMass has ever been swept by Fordham. That's 2 decades worth of basketball. The first time that Fordham's ever gotten them twice. The first one going back January 30th, overtime at the Mullen Center. And you know, that's a pretty bad look for the Minutemen to have come off a stretch where they won, 3 or 4 games. They were looking for a little 3-game winning streak here, some momentum, trying to get out of the bottom 4 of the conference, and then to drop this one. That's a tough loss. I think they're gonna feel this one, the sting of this one, come A-10 tournament time, when this one could send them down into that play-in range, of that bottom 4 of the standings. And really, the big story coming out of this, a 27-0 run. You don't see that very often. There was a lot of talk on the press row about, when's the last time you saw a 27-0 to run. Some people talking about how they wanted it to be 30-0, just, to make it a nice round number. That maybe would have been appropriate given how this one played out. But, it's hard for any team to kind of come back from a run that large, especially a team like UMass that doesn't have a whole lot of leeway if their best players in the backcourt aren't playing, lights out. Which they weren't tonight, and it hurt them. Jabari Hines coming off a career-high 37-point night against Duquesne. He's playing in front of some family and friends here in New York City. He scores 12 points, but really that was kind of boosted at the end by the free throw line, a late 3. He had nothing at halftime. He played 11 minutes coming off the bench. It took him a long time to get off the bench. I was surprised. I thought Derek Kellogg would have maybe inserted him early to get him going, get him in that game flow, kind of get him back in that rhythm that we saw the last 2 games. It didn't happen. He said that the Fordham zone kind of confused him a little bit, threw him off his game. He took 3 shots in the first half, missed all of them. Like I said, he never really got going. There was one point where UMass had gotten a stop late in the second half. They're down 10. They could cut it to single digits, which is really the first step if they were going to make a comeback. They needed to get over that 10-point mark. It never happened, partly because Jabari Hines loses his handle down in the corner in the ensuing possession. So he had a bad night. Derek Kellogg didn't seem too pleased that he came out with kind of the stinker after what we had seen. And it wasn't just him. Dante Clark went bucketless. Or he had 1 bucket over the final 18 minutes of this game. UMass once again got little to no production from its front court. Antoine Space last time out, 17 and 17. Tonight, what did he have? 6 points, 4 rebounds in 23 minutes. That's not going to cut it. It's not going to cut it apparently against Fordham. Fordham's not a great team, but either is UMass. So I mean, they're, like I said, they're really going to look back at this, kind of shaking their heads and saying, how did this all kind of fall together against this team twice in the span of a couple of weeks? And credit Fordham. They got another good night out of their freshman point guard, Joseph Chartouni. He finished with a game high, I think, 16 points. Yeah, 16 points, 5 rebounds, and 8 assists. It was really kind of a rounded effort for the Rams. Ryan Rooms got off to a slow start. He ends up with 13 points or 13 rebounds and 10 points. 5 Rams altogether score in double digits, another at 9. So it was a night where, once again, we see UMass, when it's best of its best, aren't firing all cylinders. They can lose to a team that gets, good, if not stellar, production from all up and down its lineup. And, it was nice to see UMass go in that little spurt they had recently. Kind of got some fans energized. It kind of got the hopes up that they could, like they said, make some noise in the tournament. I think this is going to put a damper on that, especially if they go back home on Sunday and lose to George Mason. That would be a really tough blow to kind of counteract all the good that they just had. And maybe that's just what this team is. I think I'm on board with that. That probably is just what this team is, and it's going to be hard for them going forward. Derek Kellogg said that the play-in game thing, something, whatever, you're going to have to win 3 or 4 games either way if you kind of want to make a run down there. I think it's a little bit bigger than that. If you go down to Brooklyn and lose in that play-in game and go home, it's kind of like you were never even there to begin with. So I think this is a pretty big game standing-wise. It was a big game, kind of, I think, from a mental standpoint for the team moving forward after, like I said, having done so much good over the past week and a half or so. So this one hurts. They're going to have to tuck their tails behind, and go back home. Having split this road trip, we'll see where they go from here. They've got some time off now before Sunday. We'll see how they regroup, and we'll catch you there at the Mullen Center against George Mason on Sunday. Thanks for watching.